I'm always delighted to be with Saul News. This has been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for May 9th, 2025. Politico reports, Biden enlists veteran Democratic operative to help defend his reputation. Joe Biden is in reputation management mode, hiring a veteran campaign and communications strategist to help burnish his legacy at a time when many in his party want him to exit the stage. It is a critical time for Biden, who has come under heavy criticism from Democrats for staying in the presidential race as long as he did last year. In a sign of Biden's intent to remain engaged publicly, his inner circle tapped Chris Meagher, a former Biden deputy press secretary and Defense Department spokesperson, to help him transition past the first 100 days of the Trump administration. Biden has already begun inching back onto the national stage with several speeches and appearances this spring. The hiring of an outside communications aide typically comes following a 6-month period when former presidents are afforded a taxpayer-funded spokesperson bound by the constraints of the Hatch Act, which prevents political activity. The Daily Caller reports, watch Bernie Sanders try to justify flying private jets nationwide for Fighting Oligarchy tour. Independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders defended his use of private jets on Fox News Wednesday and dismissed criticisms as out of touch as he refused to apologize for what he said is a necessary tool of modern campaigning. Sanders' campaign reportedly spent $221,723 on private jets in early 2025, with the first payment made just before his anti-oligarchy tour began, according to Free Beacon. During an appearance on Special Report with Bret Baier, Sanders justified his campaign travel and said there are logistical demands when trying to reach tens of thousands of voters across the country in short windows of time.
You've gotten criticized from other people. Free Beacon says Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets fighting the oligarchy tour, paid for by friends of Bernie Sanders. That you've spent millions of dollars in campaign funds on private jet travel over the years. How do you push back on both of those things?
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No. It doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign and you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
Sanders is touring the country to address crowds about limiting the control of wealthy elites and powerful corporations in the U.S. Despite calling for a populist agenda, Sanders admits his party has long failed to deliver for the working class. And finally, The Hill reports, Ocasio-Cortez move to forego run at Oversight scrambles race to replace Connally. The decision by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to forego a bid for the top Democratic seat on the House Oversight Committee has quickly sparked a series of behind-the-scenes maneuvers to replace Representative Jerry Connally, the current ranking member, whenever the seat opens up. The jockeying sets the stage for what could potentially be an animated contest pitting veteran, old guard lawmakers against a younger, newer crop of Democrats who are seeking more influence over the party's policy and messaging decisions. The timing of the transition remains very much in flux. Connally has made clear he wants to keep the seat indefinitely, especially while President Trump and Elon Musk continue their efforts to fire federal workers, many of whom Connally represents in his Northern Virginia district. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for May 9th, 2025. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.